you talked about the fact that you raise the pricing when there is more demand because you can do that, and it's like it makes sense, because maybe there is another client that will be willing to pay more for your time. But in general, how do you determine a pricing for a solo audit? Like, is it like just the amount of line of codes, maybe the complexity of the code? Maybe it's like, okay, if it's like very math heavy, it will be a bit more expensive, or maybe it's a protocol that you are less familiar with, something very novel and new. Like, how do you define the pricing before you give a quote to a client?
Exactly. So yeah, you're in the right direction. This is how it usually works. My pricing is always project based. So I first want to look at the code to see what the protocol is doing. It's very important to see the number of lines of source code, to see the number of smart contracts and external dependencies, to check what the project's timeline looks like, because some protocols really want to launch yesterday. They don't have even a day to wait anymore. They really rush things. Sometimes they don't have unit tests, which is a bad thing, because uh, some issues are really much easier to find with unit tests than with a manual audit. So I don't really like reviewing code bases that don't have unit tests or don't have documentation or whatever. So there are a lot of factors built in. And as you said, sometimes protocols are very complex. They have a lot of assembly usage, or they have like memory manipulation, or they have very math heavy logic. Like imagine a curve fork. They have so much math and stuff like this, which will take me much more time. For example, imagine reviewing 100 lines of code in two code bases. In the first code base, those lines can be just probably getter methods and some very small stupid logic. And in the other project, it could be very math heavy logic, which requires so much time, so much pen and paper writing or whatever. So lines of code is a good metric, but it's just not enough. And of course, another factor is how much I would want to go into that direction and to be becoming a better auditor with such protocols. I'm currently not filtering this that much, but I have seen that I do really well with NFT-related protocols, because usually the code bases are not that big and they fit a solo audit very well. I know most of the security attack vectors which are present in such code bases, so I do well. I provide a lot of value, and yeah, and sometimes when you get those very big lending protocols, lending and borrowing, it's not very suitable for a solo audit. You need a lot of time. You need to think through those protocols, and I personally have been reviewing only maybe one or two or three such protocols, so I'm not that experienced, and I will need a lot of research on the side done for such a protocol. It will take me more time, but yeah, usually, what can I say? One example to figure out pricing for yourself is to just say, for example, a day of my work will cost, let's say, $1,000 or $2,000. Some people I know are charging up to 3, 4, 5K dollars a day. Some people are charging $200. It's up to you, your skill level, your negotiation tactics, and everything, your business level, your brand. But yeah, you can figure this out for yourself and decide how many days roughly it will take you for a code base, and you can give them a pricing based on this. But yeah, so many factors, so you cannot just speak about pricing. You just have to see the protocol first.